And after all that, it makes you wonder why she'd hurt me. She stuck a knife in my heart and twisted it until there was nothing left to twist. I used to think that in order to rise above monsters, we'd have to become them, to understand what it's like to be so evil, and not succumb to being one. I always thought the name was strange to refer to someone with. A monster. Monsters are fictional and vicious, moralless creatures. They have no remorse or resolve, only destruction. How could any human be compared to such a thing? But I've never been one to be closed-minded. Eventually I saw exactly what they meant by monster, and I never questioned it again.
I understand that it must be hard. Wondering, pondering, lying in bed all night, thinking about what you could have done to make her hate you so much. The worst answer is always the same answer. The one without explanation. Nothing. Sometimes people hurt us in ways that we can't imagine until it's too late.
I've stooped pretty low too sometimes. In my affliction, I tried to match the lengths she would go to hurt me. It was all just some big war in the end, constantly hurting others to try to get back at ourselves, till we got bored and came back to each other and the cycle repeated. I really was a monster in the end.
Do you remember what you told me about my first heartbreak? You told me that we were not monsters, we were men.
And men don't destroy the world, we save it. Yes, I remember that.
I believed you. After she hurt me, I told myself the same thing over again to make myself feel better. We don't destroy the world, we save it. And yet it never worked. I would always feel just as bad as she left me, sometimes even worse. I was the one who was constantly in pain, and yet she was perfect. Because what it meant to me didn't mean anything to her. Until I was convinced that we had it all wrong. It wasn't the monsters that were fictional. It was men that were better than I could ever be. So I fell to her level. I thought I was a monster, just like her. Hurting others for my affection. Truly embodying the hate that I had for her, for myself and others. Until, of course, I felt happy again. Not long after she had wanted to talk to me. I felt it all over again. The rage. The anger that ensued her for leaving me. I was so anxious and sick, but I finally saw her. She felt I needed an explanation, so we walked for a time. And then I realized we weren't the monsters, not the ones that were depicted in fiction. We were only human. We had our desires, but we weren't evil. The monster was the one that scared her, the one that left her terrified, cowering in her tears, the one who couldn't control himself better enough to understand that there was no reasoning but hate that filled his heart, the one who couldn't understand that he was scaring her. That's a monster. We use the term so loosely now that we've forgotten what it means to be men, and what it really means to be a monster.
I never knew she did that to you. How far you've gone because of her. I just wish I could have stopped like you had.
Your love is my medicine when I'm up, bring me down.